Welcome to the Empowered Women in Gaming interview series. During these interviews, you will meet amazing women in the gaming and entertainment industries who have burst through glass ceilings, achieved remarkable accolades, and empowered other women to do the same. For this interview, I had the pleasure of speaking to CyborgAngel. Cyborg is a Twitch-partnered streamer known for her VR skills. She was a finalist for the MCV's Influencer of the Year award. She appeared in Cyberpunk 2077 on the BBC's The Gaming Show and has starred in the Pro Streamer series. During our conversation, we talked about all of these experiences as well as how she achieved these incredible successes. If you are looking to support our cause, please check out our Empowered Women line of merch, the proceeds of which will be going to Women's Shelters Canada. Their link and the link to the merch are in the description.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you? How was your motorcycling adventure?
Yeah, good. I had to definitely test my patience today, but yeah, it was really good. I will definitely go into details for you and let you know.
Oh, I can't wait to hear about it.
Yeah, I basically had to redo a CBT because in the UK, you need to do a CBT test in order to ride a certain CC, and it runs out every 2 years unless you get a full motorcycle license when you can get a big bike. And mine had run out, and I had a test today with one other girl who was just completely new to motorcycles. Yeah. And she was 16, and because I was like, just needed to redo mine, I was kind of just like there being very patient the whole day.
You're like, oh, this
but it was really
so
fun.
Much time. I'm so glad. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a lot of questions about motorcycling. Before I get into them, I just want to introduce you, everybody. Please meet CyborgAngel. I know many of you know her. We're also thrilled to have you here. She's a Twitch-partnered streamer. She's a huge influencer, a VR pro, and we're gonna get into all of her accomplishments in just a sec. If you guys have any questions, please drop them into chat, and I will try to get them. And now we're gonna get right into this. So, what inspired you to get on a motorcycle and start learning how to ride one?
Oh. I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie, so I've been always wanting to have a motorcycle from when I was very young. I was like, I really want one of those, but I didn't ever think it would happen. And year before last year, Days Gone came out and Death Stranding came out, both being very, motorcycle orientated games. And it just reminded me, it was like, hang on a second. I'm moving to the countryside in the UK soon, so it's going to be safer to own a motorcycle. Oh, and I'm actually able to do it, and I haven't done it yet. Like, why have I not done this? And I'm kind of at that stage of, like, crossing off goals that I wanted to accomplish. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to absolutely just do it. I'm just going for it. So before I even moved out of London, I did my CBT there. And then 3 months later, I think, I moved to Cambridge, which is just outside of London in the countryside. And I just got a motorbike straight away. If I can't do something or something scares me, I need to do it.
You have to do it.
More so.
Oh, I love that mentality. What a brilliant way to live your life. So you are now officially licensed to ride a motorcycle. No more testing. You've graduated? Congratulations.
Well, I've got the first test done. There's 2 more tests because I want to get an even faster bike. So over the next, I've already booked everything as well. I've already booked the other 2 tests, which is a mod 1 and a mod 2 in the UK. Yeah. And that's an on-road and an off-road test. And I've booked like 20 hours worth of lessons, and that's it. Over the next couple of months before it gets too cold, that is what I'm doing.
That's all you're doing is motorcycle lessons. Yeah. That's fabulous. Yeah. Are you still in London right now, or when are you planning to move? You've already moved.
No, so I've already moved. So I was in London until the end of 2019, and then just before COVID I moved out of my parents' house finally, because I moved back in, then finally moved out after years later. Yeah. And now I'm in Cambridge, since just before COVID. So it still feels like it's a really new area to me because I've not been out, because everything's been closed. Yeah. So where it's all opened up now, I'm just about starting to get find my feet in the area, and it still feels really fresh and exciting, especially with a motorbike. So
yeah, I bet. That's fabulous. I'm so happy for you. That's an exciting adventure that you're on now. Awesome. Well, I wish you like all the luck in the world in the rest of your motorcycle lessons. I imagine you'll be just the queen at it. Zipping around. Are you getting like a super fast, like, what are they called? They call it the crotch rockets in Canada and probably the States too. Is that what you call them there? Like those super fast zippy bikes?
No, we don't. I've not heard of that term before.
Good.
I'm gonna be getting I'm not gonna be getting a super fast one. The only reason being is because I'm actually a really tiny person. I'm like 5 foot fuck all. I don't know if I can swear on this.
You can swear it up. Yeah, it can as far as you want.
Yeah, so the term I use is I am 5 foot fuck all.
Yeah.
And I am really tiny, and my motorbike is already 3 times my weight. So if I was to go up to 1000cc, which I would absolutely love, I'm just not gonna be able to handle it or like hold it up or keep my balance. So I'm gonna go up to about 600.
Yeah.
It'll be just perfect.
That'll be perfect. And it'll probably feel super fast.
Oh yeah, totally.
So you're an adrenaline junkie. What are some of the other things that you've done that have been like really daring and out there and that have tested your adrenaline?
I would say not so much like physical things, more a case of like if I'm scared of something, like for instance when I started streaming, the first time I ended up on stage, I'd never been on stage before. I'd never done any sort of like a massive event, and I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. Didn't know what to do, didn't know how to handle myself, was literally shaking with nerves. And I throw myself into situations like that. I think another example would be that I volunteered to go on stage to compete on a Beat Saber contest at DreamHack a couple of years ago, back when VR was still like starting to boom and the HTC Vive Pro had just came out. And I was so scared. Again, I'm great in front of a camera where I can't see people, but when I can see crowds and crowds of people, I honestly shit a brick. So I was just like, I kept telling my friend, I was like, oh my god, I want to do this. I know I'll be good at it because I know my VR. And she was like, just do it then. And I was like, no, there's too many people. And I was just like, do you know what? I'm doing it. And I'm one of those people, I'll just throw myself in head first and I'll either sink or swim, but you don't know unless you do. So, and I won.
You did? Congratulations. Dang, what an awesome experience. So
thank you.
So Beat Saber, this is your jam. I am in love with Beat Saber. It is my #1 favorite form of exercise. When you go into a Beat Saber competition, do you have to do it on Expert Plus or just Expert?
It depends. Sometimes it's nicer to enjoy the song and do Expert, but I can do some songs in Expert Plus. And they're ones that you just know so well that you just enjoy it. But I don't know, it depends. Between the two, depending on the song. But again, it's not the only VR game I play now. So every now and then when I jump back into Saber, I do have to like sort of warm up a bit before I can go into those ones. But another really good one is Pistol Whip, like Saber.
What does Pistol Whip do?
That is like, it's kind of like you feel like James Bond. It's a shooting one with music, and you basically, to the music, it kind of like puts you down a path where you have to dodge out of the way of stuff and shoot things and people, but it's timed to the music, so it's so good and it's so fast paced, you can't pause it. The game just literally walks you through like loads of enemies and they pop out of everywhere, but it's just all in line with music. This is the #1 game on my list now. Anything VR that involves a beat, I need to experience. Thank you. Pistol Whip, I got it. I have it written. And if you need any sort of recommendations on story games in VR, I have all of those as well.
So this is a massive part of your streaming career is VR. When you first started back in 2015, did you know you were going to be a VR streamer?
No, I didn't. VR at that time, if I remember, just a year or two before that, they were talking about, I'm pretty sure it was just a year or two before that, they were talking about the Oculus, and it hadn't really been released, and there was just really like vague ideas around VR, and it was very much just the Oculus thinking about doing a seated VR where you had a controller and you just turned around and looked and stuff. It wasn't this room scale thing. So over the course of streaming, and when I started streaming, it suddenly started broadening. But no, I never thought it was going to be VR. I just have always loved gaming, and I will say as well, I'm not a professional gamer. I am absolutely shit at some games, but I would say I enjoy it, and I'm more entertaining because of how derpy I can be, I would probably say.
I love that. That's truly, it's what I think makes the most entertaining gamer, is one that can just derp their way through. I love that. What are some of the games that you started out with early on?
So the main game I started streaming was Heroes of the Storm. I was very much into my MOBAs. Before I started streaming, I played League of Legends for quite a few years, and then Heroes of the Storm came out just before I realized what streaming was. And I tried that and I was never able to go back to League. So when I started streaming, it was just Heroes of the Storm because it was more fast-paced. I preferred it. And then it went from that to Overwatch, and I tried my first ever horror game.
And?
I was never able to play horror games before that, and I still can't unless I'm streaming, because otherwise I get too scared and I'm just like, I quit. But if you're on stream, it's like kind of you're forced to finish because you can't let everyone down.
Exactly.
So my first one was Outlast, and I honestly, it took me so long to get through it, but I was so proud of myself to finally complete it. So yeah, I started getting into stuff like that to begin with, and then it went more into sort of the story and horror sort of side of things, rather than the MOBAs. That kind of took a side step at that point.
That's interesting. Outlast was the first game that chat asked me to play. It was my first horror game, and I did proudly 10 minutes of it, and then I gave up. It was way too scary for me, but so I'm impressed. That's an accomplishment, getting through Outlast. Did you play number 2, or were you like, no?
I did.
Really?
Yeah, I kind of got into all of the horror games that I could possibly try after that. Purely, again, because of the adrenaline rush. I'm absolutely terrified of them. But because of the adrenaline rush, and because I'm like somebody who's just like, no, I have to do it because I'm scared, I started doing many horror games, including VR horror games, which, may I tell you, oh my god, that's another level. Like, Paranormal Activity VR is a thing, and it's a full story game, and the characters interact with you, and it is absolutely terrifying.
Oh my god. Did you do Resident Evil 7?
No, I did it on PC. I didn't, or PlayStation. I didn't do it on PlayStation VR, just purely because it was PlayStation VR, which isn't as developed as other VR headsets. It's still great, but it's not as developed as the ones that I used to use. So it's a very big difference between the other two. That, and I think I don't know if I would have been able to get through that one. And my community haven't. Yeah, it's so scary as well, and my community have not been able to hit any targets that I've set to play it, which I'm actually quite happy about.
You're like, my targets are so high. No one's gonna get there. Perfect. What they're gonna, you know what? Never challenge chat. They're gonna get there one day. They're gonna make you eat your words. So, sorry, what was the first horror game you said you played through on VR?
The first one on VR has to be Paranormal Activity.
It was Paranormal Activity.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And it was terrifying. I got through it and I played it the whole way through in one stream, and then I remember I did it again about a year later for a charity stream. So I only did a 2 or 3 hour segment for a charity stream on a big charity channel, and I literally, I'm playing through the same game I already know, but it's so terrifying that like part way through I started hyperventilating and I had to take off the headset and be like, oh, okay, I'm too scared. Like, it was too much. Yeah. It's
such an adrenaline rush, and then sometimes not in a good way. What happens in that game? Do like the ghosts just pop out at you, or what do you do?
No, so think of if you were to watch like a Paranormal Activity movie. Yeah. It's very much like that, but you are playing as the main character. So it pans out as a movie. Certain things happen in certain orders. You go and check the house and you're trying to figure out what's going on, and you come up to an empty house, and then all of a sudden you hear noises and you go to check a door and that door's locked. So the next door that you check, as you go to open it, because it's slightly ajar, you go to reach out to open it and the door just slams shut and then you can't open it again. So it's like stuff like that happens. Or you'll walk down a hallway at one point and the lights start flickering, and then you can see a shadow of a clown toy and music starts playing in the background, and you have to walk towards this door. And then there's a point where you see like a little girl that's part of this story, who's like, you know, you will need to try and help. And as she runs away from you, when you go to follow her, there's a hallway that you get to, and when you get to the hallway, this ball just rolls out darkness towards you. And it's just, and might I add, when you're in VR and you're in a dark room in VR, you literally feel like you're in the dark. You don't think you are where you are. No. There's no way you can convince yourself that you're not there.
Exactly.
And I'm terrified of the dark. I still have a phobia of the dark at this age. So.
Oh my! Honestly, my palms are getting sweaty just hearing you describe it. I don't know if I could get through that. That is petrifying. Good for you, doing it twice.
Yeah, you should totally try it. You should totally try it. Honestly, one of the best VR games. So well done. And it's just the way that it pans out. Like I said, it's just like a movie.
Okay.
It's so good.
I'm writing it down. Can I get that on PlayStation?
No, I don't know.
I should check that out. I will.
Yeah.
I'll look into that. I truly, the computer PC Quest is far better.
Yeah.
All I have is PlayStation right now. I have to get
very
into
much
that. So you began getting into VR once it kind of hit the market and became mainstream. What led you in that direction? Because as you said before, you were playing MOBAs. What about the VR grabbed you and was like, this is what I need to be doing?
I've always loved my tech, and I've always loved new stuff that comes out. I've always been that nerd and that kid at school with all the like gadgets and wanting to like find out how to hack stuff and like code stuff without even going to lessons, sort of thing. So when VR started becoming a little bit more, I mean, they just started reporting more on what they were doing and how they were going about stuff. I just fell in love straight away. I just knew it was something that I needed to do.
Yeah.
Because it was new tech and it was something that I really believed in. And I remember there was a point, actually, when I started doing VR, my streaming career really started taking off and I was very close to going full-time. And no, I think I'd just gone full-time. And the film Ready Player One came out. And I went to watch that, and I was already so smitten about the fact that VR and, you know, I've just gone full time and I can now do this full time. And, you know, while watching the movie, I will say I cried the whole way through just out of pure realization of, you know, when you realize of where you are and it's like, oh my God, I get to do this. I get to play VR as a job. I get to do something I absolutely love. And I was just watching this film, which I absolutely adore because of the way that VR is and the way I really want VR to go. And it just, you know, when it just hits you, I was just like, oh my God, it just the feels the whole way through the film. It was just like a realization moment.
Would you, so like in Ready Player One, they are essentially like you can live your life in VR. Do you like envision an ideal future in a realm such as that?
I would like to say so. If you haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but you should have seen it by now if you've seen it.
Yeah, you really should.
But at the end of the film, where it's very much a balance, and they're like, you know, this is an amazing world, but we really need real life as well.
Yeah.
I'm very much on that path. However, at the same time, I feel like technology and the internet and social media has not only connected us, but also disconnected us so much that I think that virtual reality is like one of the next go-to things to help technology reconnect us in the right way. So I really do want it to go in that direction, in a sense of, you know, instead of logging into Steam and seeing your friends list, you put your headset on, your VR headset on, and you're in a town where there are multiple directions you can go to different games. But you're literally in a town and you see your friends instead, and who's like live or who's like, you know, there. So that kind of thing, do you know what I mean? I really do want it to become more realistic, and I think it's definitely on its way there. And it's so strange because a couple of months after starting to cover VR and going full time, I started getting virtual reality companies reach out to me, and I was actually kind of a consultant for one of them that were making a social platform for VR, and I mean, the information I've given them, I don't know how far they've carried it just yet because things have slowed down because of COVID and stuff. But it was just so nice to give them my ideas of like, this is where I think it should go, and this is what I think would work well with streams and connecting people again.
Absolutely.
So
what an incredible opportunity. Congratulations. That's such a wonderful feeling, and that feeling that you got when you were watching Ready Player One of like, this is what I get to do and this is what I get to be. What were some of the challenges or the barriers that were along your way before you got to that point where you could really like grasp onto it and celebrate it?
The challenges and barriers for VR, did you say? Or?
Just for your career in general, getting to the place where you could stream as a VR streamer.
As in to get to streaming VR, or in general with like going full time.
Exactly.
Okay, I just want to make sure I know what you mean. I would say that you, as a small streamer, you learn a lot. You learn a lot in regards to trusting your own ideas and your own direction and your own sort of way that you want your stream to be. And I think early on in streaming, you tend to, and I know this sounds, I don't want it to sound bad, but you tend to look as a younger streamer to what chat think is right,
Yeah.
and what chat thinks is going to be the best direction. And I think I was very, very naive and very like not as sure of myself when I first started. So I think one of the biggest barriers that I got over was learning to trust myself over 100 million other opinions and everyone saying, well, no, you should do it this way. I don't like the way you're doing that, or I don't like the direction you're going in. It was more a case of trusting my own opinions and also selecting the right mod group, selecting the right people that I wanted in my community, helping manage my community, and being hard enough to and sure enough to kick out the wrong kind of attitude and the wrong kind of chat, so that I've got the perfect community and I've got one that's wholesome. Because I think early on in streaming as well, you tend to, because you want to grow your channel, you tend to not want to block people, you tend to not want to tell people off or be a little bit more lenient, and I think that just leads your chat down the wrong direction. So for me, the biggest learning curve was just being sure of myself, knowing the direction I wanted to go in, and not being afraid to say no to people.
Those are incredibly important lessons, and they're hard to learn along the way. Did you have any specific instances of trolling or difficulties with like particular members or established members of your community along the way that were like big challenges that you faced that really taught you that lesson?
Yes, I would say that one of the first mod teams that I had, I believe you always think that everyone's there for the right reason, and I think that over time you realize that that's not everyone. That's not everyone. So very early on in my streaming career, I think I definitely modded probably the wrong style of chat members, and some of them tended to, because they grew with the channel, or not they grew with the channel, but they were there during the growth of the channel, they were there from the start, sort of for some reason decided that they had some kind of say in things, and they had some kind of like sort of they felt very entitled in a lot of ways, and I think they also sort of directed the chat in the wrong route in regards to trolling, because they would get away with certain comments because they were mods and you didn't want to tell them off. And I think that was probably the hardest thing. Is I got to a stage where I was like, right, that's it, I'm completely revamping my mod team, and I knew that these people were so entitled, like some were so entitled that they would also be taking a lot of that community with them, because they were so just tight knit in the community, and that's what you're worried of more than anything when you kind of cull the way that you don't want the chat to be and want it to be. But I think getting past that, and I think that was one of the biggest things that made me learn something, is just going, no, it's fine, and whoever goes in that direction, when I say this isn't the community or the chat that I want, I wouldn't want them there anyway. That's fine. They can choose to go in that direction. So that was the biggest learning curve for me, is doing that, and I couldn't be more proud of the community and the group of people that I have in my channel now.
Congratulations. That is a huge obstacle to navigate, and congratulations for doing it. And you have a beautiful community. We've been talking today about it, and people just keep on telling me how much they enjoy your streams and the atmosphere that you create, and that's really a beautiful thing to have achieved. So this series is especially about women and the successes that women have had in gaming, and shedding a light on that. And I wanted to talk to you about VR and the environment around the landscape of VR, and particularly about you within that environment, because it is male dominated. And what have you faced any barriers when engaging in the VR community? Have you faced any difficulties surrounding that, or has it been incredibly wholesome and welcoming to you despite gender differences?
I think that you, like as a female, you're going to get trolling no matter what. You're going to get people who will try and use your gender as against you, or say that you've only got where you are because you're female, or this and that, which is so untrue, because there are so many more successful males who are streamers over females. So it's just such a misconception with that. But I would say in the VR community, it's been very welcoming, because it's such a niche community, because unless you go into stuff like VR chat, which is not what I cover, because that's full of a bunch of kids personally, I feel, or most of the time it is. Generally speaking, the VR community is very, very mature, very welcoming, and it's all about them wanting more people to realize how good VR is. So in terms of VR, no, I have not had any any sort of challenges. I mean, I've obviously been on front page on Twitch every now and then with VR in the past, and you will obviously get the trolls that are coming in because they can see you on VR, so you're not sitting down, they can see legs. It's suddenly troll comments and stuff like that. But again, if you have a tight-knit mod group and community, it's not an issue.
It's not an issue.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah, with regards to VR, no.
That's great. That's so wonderful to hear. And I'm glad to hear that the landscape is changing in a really positive direction, and like something new like VR is kicking off in a really positive way. So that's wonderful. You have so many accomplishments under your belt. I'm just going to start from the top, and we're gonna talk through them. I wanted to talk first about MCV's Women of the Games Influencer of the Year. You were nominated in 2018 for that award. What an incredible feat! How did that come about? How did you find out? What was the feeling?
I can't even remember that far back now. I'm trying to remember whether that was before or after I went full-time. I think it was after I went full-time, and I just didn't expect to be in the group of people who were nominated that I was in. I did not in any way, shape or form think I was gonna be in that group, let alone win. So I was just more than happy to be part of that group of women who were nominated, and going to the event and just being recognized for the kinds of streams and the kinds of like production quality and sort of the way that I wanted my brand and myself to be portrayed and put across was just, it was I was so freaking proud of myself and my community.
Absolutely, you should be. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So you actually got to physically go to it was like an event, the Women in Game Awards. Wow. Yes. That is, how did you go down that path? Were you nominated, or they just discover you? How does it happen? Do you apply?
I was nominated. I was actually put forward by someone in Corsair, who were one of my sponsors. So Corsair sponsors me. I was told about it, and then they put my name forward, and I didn't think it was something that I was going to be picked from. I was like, yeah, totally, I would love to be put forward into that, and I just didn't expect it. Again, and there was no other streamers nominated for this award. It was people who worked in PR and sort of like presenters and stuff like that. So I was the only streamer that was in that category, and I think it was purely down to, I think, just the way that Corsair like spoke about my production quality, and when they looked into the sort of streams that I did and the sort of route I was going in, because I think that's when I started doing VR too. So yeah, that's how.
Congratulations. What an incredibly special moment that must have been. So you were in 2018, you were in the awards. I'm not sure when in your timeline, but you also appeared on BBC's The Gaming Show. Another incredible opportunity. What was that about? What were they interviewing you about?
So that was the first time I ever appeared on any sort of BBC show. I've been on their shows a couple of times since then. Wow. The first time I was really shocked that I got contacted regarding it, and they wanted me to talk about the differences, because at the time it was like PUBG and Fortnite come out. They were just getting like huge games that were kind of competing against each other, and they wanted me to talk about the differences between the two. And I thought I was going to send in this footage, and they must have asked like a dozen other people, and they probably weren't going to select me, or were, and I was so nervous with the footage that I recorded and sent in, and they ended up using it on the TV show, and I was just really, really proud of it.
How fabulous.
I was only on there, it was literally like, I think I was on the screen for like 20 seconds at one point, and then on the screen at another point for like maybe 10 seconds, but it was like other presenters, so I don't think there were any other streamers. Again, it was just presenters. There was a few comedians who were also into gaming, and then there was just me as the one streamer. Wow. And they were kind of diving in between like different opinions, and us kind of explaining to the audience what was happening between the two games. So yeah,
that's awesome. So in these situations, you're one of the first female gamers and streamers to be spoken to, and to be nominated, and to be integrated into these wider spheres of gaming. And that wow, that's incredible. How do you feel? How has that felt to be in these spaces?
if anything, it just pushes me to want to do more and push the bar and kind of keep setting the limit higher for other females in the industry and other streamers to just keep going and not stop where you are, because there's so much more you can do. So yeah, I don't know, it's strange because the amount of streamers who I used to look up to and be like, oh my gosh, like if I ever saw them at TwitchCon, I'd be like, oh my gosh, it's so and so. That was suddenly like, wow, congratulations, that's so inspiring, and telling me I was inspiring is crazy. And honestly, it just gives you a push of, you got to keep going, you got this. Yeah.
I completely believe that. That's incredible. You starred on the Pro Streamer series. I don't know if I'm entirely familiar with that series. Can you tell me more about it?
So that was the Pro Streamer series was actually around me, my channel, and Corsair, and a computer company. So the computer company created the series. It was to do with how to build your own PC. I basically, for the first couple of episodes, I believe I was being interviewed, and they were just talking to me about, like you are, how did I get into streaming, what were my challenges, what advice would I give, etc., etc., for a couple of episodes. And then the last 2 episodes, I think I was building a PC and showing everyone how to, and it was like professionally filmed and everything, how to build a PC. And then the second to last was, I believe, me going through everything that I'd done, and I was kind of presenting at that point. And I just remember it was the first time I ever used, are they called cue cards, where you've got the text that displays next to the camera and it just scrolls up, and you're like, it's the first time I ever used one of those, and I got so tongue-tied because I've always been so bad reading out loud. I was such a nervous, shy person in school, and it was a massive phobia for me. I used to get stage fright when it came to reading out loud. So using those cue cards was it was terrifying, and I had to keep redoing it over and over and over again for that last episode. I just remember it thinking, oh my god, they must be getting so annoyed with me, but it came out so well, and doing it just gave me more confidence going ahead and doing stuff like that, and I'm nowhere near as bad as I used to be now.
It is a difficult process reading live and recording videos on your own at home without a live like an audience, like a streamer in streamer mode. It's a very different process. That's so great. And so slowly you've developed this incredible skill set. I imagine, especially given all of these interviews and these conversations you've had, like right now talking to you, you're incredibly eloquent. Did that develop through these interviews and the processes that you've had in these larger spaces and these public events?
I think so. I think that it's helped, because you have to be, especially when you're talking to audiences from everywhere in the world, you have to be quite well spoken in order for everyone to understand you properly, and for closed captions and stuff like that to work.
That's nice.
But also the way that you present yourself, the more professional you try and come across, and the more sort of the way that I tried getting it was the more sort of TV ready you presented yourself, the more brands will want to work with you and reach out to you. And that's what got a lot of attention in regards to the way that I presented myself and the production quality in the way that I presented my streams, I believe. And that's the feedback I've kind of got off of people when I've asked as well. But yeah, in regards to, cue cards and going from the pro gaming series, I mean, I don't know, I can probably tell you something that I haven't told my audience yet. I'm guessing, do you put this on YouTube as well?
I do, yeah.
I'm not sure. You do? Okay, so by the time you put it on YouTube, I believe the announcement would have come out, but if not, don't worry, it's fine.
I'll keep it top secret.
But I can tell, for those of you who are here, I can tell you, I can't give you details, but I can tell you that from next month, I'm going to be co-hosting my own TV show, or weekly. So.
Oh my gosh, that is so exciting!
Yeah.
Congratulations! Congrats!
Thank you very much.
Where will it be airing?
On Sky TV, but also on multiple, around the world in certain places. I can't tell you where yet, but there will be news coming out soon.
Can we ask, is it too soon to ask what it's about, or what will be happening?
It's around gaming. It's around gaming.
Is it like talk show?
Can't say anything else.
Okay. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. Congratulations. You must be over the moon.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Filming starts very, very soon, so that's all I can say because the company themselves haven't announced it yet. So once they've announced it, I can tell you where it is or who it's with.
Yeah.
But for now, you guys are the only ones who know. You guys and my patrons are the only ones who know that I'm doing anything like this.
Thank you for sharing. We all feel,
No problem.
I particularly feel very, very special. So thank you. That's so exciting for you. Whoa, I had a bunch of questions that popped into my brain and then they vanished as the words were coming out of my mouth. How much time is this going to take up? Will it change your stream? And do you see yourself moving in this new direction in your career?
That's a very good question. I think that as it's going to be something that I need to film weekly, it will be taking up some time, especially if, I've got to be up and I've got to head down to London to do this studio. And then that's going to be an extra day taken out of streaming.
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to be cutting down the streams for one more day a week in order to do this.
Yep.
At least for the season sort of series that I do until that's over or unless it gets rebooked. But I think direction wise, because of what's going on now, and again, I still want to keep streaming, one of my main things, and that's still going to be something that I totally do, and I'm never going to stop.
No.
It will just be one less day, but the direction that I am going is definitely to do with presenting, hosting, and also getting more into like the behind the scenes of gaming, so voice acting and potentially mocap in the future. Fingers crossed.
Oh, fingers crossed. Have you begun to apply for those types of roles?
Yes, and I am a voice actor in one game already, so yeah.
I know, and I know this. I was gonna this is wonderful transition. You've appeared in Cyberpunk 2077. That's your voice acting role that you had, right?
It's not voice acting. I just appear in it.
You just appear. No. Is that a mocap position?
No, that's not a mocap position. No. They did take all angles in order to make something 3D if they needed to, but I ended up being an advert in the game instead. So I'm an advert for a rock singer. So I'm a rock singer on tour, and you actually see me in the game. I'm Cyborg Sephiroth. You can see me on huge posters and stuff like that. And I'm Cyborg Sephiroth, and I've got like massive metal wings. And I think I'm looking up, and I've got massive metal wings. And then all the tour dates, as if I'm going on tour. Yeah, I look like really gothic sort of.
That's incredible. Angel. So how did you how did this come around? How did this come to be?
I met with the developers of Cyberpunk, so CD Projekt Red, back at E3 2018. At the time I was showing a friend around and introducing them to the gaming world and the gaming industry. You might know them, Amelia Rose Blair and Brian Deckart from Detroit Become Human.
Yes.
They're very good friends of mine.
Love Brian.
And I was introducing, absolutely lovely people. And I was introducing them to, different, studios and different people in the gaming world. And we both went to CD Projekt Red and we went and saw their first demo. And we just started chatting, and they were really interested in working with Brian, and just in being there, they took a real interest to me. They started inviting me out to events. I've been to their studio in Poland regarding other games that they've released. And then they contacted me and said, hey, we'd love to have you in Cyberpunk. We need this, and this off of you if you would like to get involved. And I was like, oh my God, yeah.
Heck yeah. That's phenomenal. Congratulations.
Thank you. There's such an amazing studio, and whenever I've met them since the first time, I've got on with them so well and just gone out for drinks with them and such, and whenever I see them at events, we're always catching up. So we just created such a bond, and I'm really, it's lovely to know them, but not just that, but also for them to want me in their games as well. It's just amazing.
That truly is. So your character can be seen fully animated doing things in the game, just no lines.
No, it's not animated at all. It's you can just see me in the game. Yeah, they had to work with so many different types of influencers and types of streamers to put us in the game in different ways. And they were on, as you can tell, such a short time frame to get everything done. That a lot of it was just put on billboards posters, and adverts and that kind of stuff
around the world. That's awesome. So I think the voice acting position you have then, was that in the game for Getter, I believe? You did a commercial for it. Tell us about that experience.
Yes. That was crazy wild. Do you know what? They released the idea and the concept of the game. There was a video that went out on Instagram, and I remember seeing it because my friend does music for video games, and she'd reposted it, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. And I reposted it, and I was like, this is an amazing concept for a game, love the idea. And I commented on this stuff, and they just suddenly messaged me and was like, oh my god, thank you so much for the comment, we love your stuff, we watch your streams. And I was just like, whoa, okay. And they were like, we would love to, like, oh, that was it. I think I actually mentioned, they were like, because I was just so thrown back by the fact that they were like, oh, thank you, that means a lot, we watch your streams. I was just like, wow, okay. I was like, your idea for your game is amazing. And I knew I wanted to get my foot in the door with voice acting. And I just randomly said, I didn't think anything would come of it. And I just randomly said, if you need any help, if you need any voice actors, that's something that I'm getting into, I would love to do stuff. And they were like, that would be absolutely perfect. We would love to have you in the game. And then it just went from there.
How fabulous. That's amazing. Yeah. So what did you end up doing? Were you like a character in the game?
So I'm basically the voice of the female sort of corporation person. So I'm like the kind of advert you hear in the game regarding the product that they're making. And I kind of put this across as just it's like a kind of a rich person's product. So I'm kind of this sort of, like I say, a very corporate sort of posh, don't really understand the people kind of person, but it's like, hey, this is what you need and this is what's going to be better for you. And I'm it's weird, but it's such a strange game. You need to play it in order to understand it. But it's about people who have children who want the best for their children. So they want them to have like the best life and all these skills, but instead of getting created through bad decisions and through trauma and through just bad experiences that make sort of develop your character, they were taking the skills and the brains from dead and deceased artists and musicians and being able to put all the skills in a newborn child.
Oh my goodness.
So it was kind of this sort of so I was kind of the person to sell this to you and be like, hey, you want the best sort of thing for your child, this is the kind of thing that you want to do. You want to have our product and like sort of transfer these skills via this strange brain device. So it was kind of like me having no idea about the community and being like, this is what you need to buy, sort of thing.
Did you play through the game live on stream?
I played the first part live on stream, yes. I haven't played the whole thing because I want people to experience it for themselves, and it's a really sort of wholesome emotional game. I think going through it, it's a lot to do with like depression and suicidal thoughts and basically everything that the artists and the musicians went through that ended up being their demise or leading them to being this crazy amazing creative person but going through these hardships. So I didn't want to play through all of that because I wanted people to experience it themselves, but I did play through the first like hour and a bit and the whole section that had me in it. So yeah.
What was it like hearing yourself in a video game?
Crazy. So weird. So weird because you don't physically see me in this game. I'm just the voice behind the commercial. And it's just weird. I'm never going to get used to it, but I hope I don't, because I don't ever want to get a big like, oh, look at me sort of ego. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you want to be humbled by the incredibleness of that experience. So that game was The Forgetter. What was the development studio?
The development studio, they're a very unique one. So they are Sometimes Monastery.
Sometimes Monastery. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. That is
the first game that they've put on Steam. So
wow, that's fantastic.
That's on PC, yeah.
Oh, good. I hope that studio can develop. That sounds like a fabulous concept. So in depth.
It's really good. Yeah.
So you are planning on pursuing more of a voice acting career. You're right on the cusp of this. You're starting this process. What is it like to begin this new adventure in your life? What are the steps that you're taking to get discovered or to get on these into games?
It's honestly so exciting. And I think in regards to being discovered, it's rather hard because you don't have something that you can put together in a reel yet. I mean, I've only been in one game, so I can't really put a reel together. However, for me, it's more about the way that you carry yourself, word of mouth, the people that you work with, being able to say how good it was to work with you, or other companies seeing that another company has used you, I think really speaks for itself. Especially when it comes to sponsors as well. I think that for itself, you get sponsors look at other people and go, oh, well, that company sponsors her, so surely she's a good person to work with. And then when they look into you, they think, oh my god, yes. So I would like to think the same thing would happen with voice acting and word of mouth in the people that I'm working with or have worked with or have been speaking to, but also to do with community, because I think that that's a huge part, and I don't think the community realizes how much they can be of influence in a helping way to us. So a lot of my community will tag me in tweets now where people are looking for voice actors, or they'll mention me and say use CyborgAngel, and I can see that they've tagged me, and these companies will take into account when people like streamers like us are mentioned. So part of it is to do with community as well.
That's a really, really good point. So it's this kind of support and the boost from your community, particularly on social media, that's helping you again the attention of more of these companies to get involved with them. You are incredibly effective at working with and networking with companies to be an influencer for them. I think that's quite a skill that you've developed. What are some of your strategies in doing that?
In just networking with companies, you mean? So
Yeah.
as in getting them to sort of... Sorry, could you repeat the question? I want to make sure I understood that.
It may actually be a repeated answer, but what kind of steps or approaches do you take when networking with companies to establish these incredible relationships that you've been able to establish now? And I think you've already said that one of them is presenting yourself as a professional and making sure that you're consistent so that you can spread word of mouth. But what kind of steps do you take to reach out and establish those connections? Because I imagine it takes a little bit of bravery, especially at the beginning of your streaming career when you're first starting out, especially to establish this incredible list of connections that you have had now.
Yeah, I think that it's there's a lot that I think people can do quite easily to get sort of to where I am. I think a lot of people who try branching into sponsorships and getting companies to reach out to them or to notice them do it in a way where they're just they're waiting for it to happen and nothing happens. So you do have to try and reach out yourself, and there's nothing wrong with reaching out to a company yourself. But also at the same time, when you're starting to take off as a streamer, you will get a lot of companies reaching out to you. And I would say that one of the key things to do is to make yourself exclusive. Do not take on any and all brand deals. Do not work with any sort of deals just because they're offering you free products or an affiliate link. You're better off staying exclusive or asking them if they were to support you further by paying you a sponsorship, so you can actually work with them closely and work with them long term, in order to sort of build that brand and integrate that brand with yours properly, as I have done with Corsair. And I've been with them 4 years now, and it's just great to work with the brand, so amazing. But to just integrate them fully, and not just, if I had taken it on early on as just like, here's free products and here's an affiliate link, you just don't feel, it's not the same connection and it's not the same kind of support for you as well as sort of the amount of passion you want to put in behind a product. Do you know what I mean? So I would say stay exclusive and don't take on any and all brand deals, and stay away from affiliate deals if you but also when companies reach out to you and they say, oh, we'd love to work with you, we're going to give you this free, or we just need you to put a link in a panel here. No, because I'm exclusive, and if you really value my coverage, then you're going to want to work with me in more than just an affiliate thing, because all that's doing is taking away my exclusivity from another company who would want to work with me closer.
Yeah.
So I think that takes on, that's a big thing. And when companies start seeing you take on sponsorships more seriously, you get noticed by bigger companies on the same level as them.
That's incredible advice. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's
no problem.
Really awesome. And one of the relationships you've fostered quite beautifully is Corsair, as you've mentioned, and to the point where, like, when I research your name or I research Corsair, your image is coming up. Tell me about that relationship. How did it start, and how have you fostered and built that more closely?
It's weird. I used Corsair products years before I even knew what streaming was, so I always loved their stuff. And like the Corsair team that reached out to me originally, I think at the time I was just starting to go. I hadn't even got a partner yet, I don't think, and I just started bordering on an average of 50 viewers, and they just approached me because I treated my stream as if I was at 500 and it was a TV show. And again, it was the production quality that I kind of went for. But they said to me, they was just like, the way that you present yourself, the sort of production quality of your stream, we can see that you're going to go places. So we would love to work with you. We would love to have you behind our brand, because that's the sort of what was the word? The sort of quality that is also linked to their brand, and that they wanted linked to their brand. And just from the get-go, because they took me so seriously and they believed in me as much as I believed in their product, I've just worked with them on so many different things, and I've constantly asked, is there anything else I can do? Is there anything else I can get involved in? Can I be part of like a product launch? Do you need anybody to help you with, you know, photos for products and stuff like that? And usually, obviously, companies like this, as you can tell from Corsair, any companies will use like professional models and stuff like that to sort of showcase the headsets and stuff. But I kept poking them and kept poking them, and the last headset that came out, which was this one, they were like, we'd love for you to join us. And they actually sort of booked for me to go in to have coverage around the other models. So everyone else there was like a professional model. There's me not knowing how to model, not knowing what to do or how to stand. And I'm just like, well, I'm just gonna wing it. I've got this, like I've got it. It's always jump in head first and you learn when you're there. And yeah, I was the only one that was there that didn't know what they were doing, but totally got involved. And it was just, I don't know, just if you don't ask, you don't get. And if you don't keep pushing for the next level, you're always going to be at the level you're at. So that's just working with them more closely and wanting to do more with them.
Well done. The advertisements turned out fabulously. So you have the Corsair sponsor, and there were a couple others, Arc 8 and Alpha Sync Gaming. Can you tell us about those partnerships and what they offer and what you do for them?
Yeah. So again, I'm so proud of the sponsors that I have. So Arc 8 is a sort of gaming collections clothing company. They don't just do clothing though, they do like other little accessories. They've done face masks, they've done bags and stuff like that before. But they do a lot of like one-off, or not one-off, like exclusive replica stuff. And their stuff isn't like, I hate the idea of merch where it's just like, here's a t-shirt and let's just slap an image on it and then there you go, that's a gaming t-shirt. Arc 8 don't do that. Arc 8 are very much to do with the design, the really intricate sort of details and quality of the product. So their products are more expensive than usual collections and merch that you get elsewhere, but that's why I don't like using the word merch when I speak about them. They've made replica Claire Redfield leather jackets, which I actually have, which is real leather. And they've made stuff like their new collection is the Sekiro collection. And it's like a pair of trousers will be like, you know, about 150 euros or something like that. But the quality of their products, the quality of their hoodie that I have sometimes lived in for weeks and weeks and washed so many times because I've had some of this stuff for over a year, is still like it is brand new. That's so incredible. I would say Arc 8, it's all about the quality. It's all about the actual proper designs for stuff. And again, it's all limited. It's all exclusive. There's only a number of them being made, and once they're sold out, they're sold out. So that's Arc 8. And you know, I plan to do so much more with them. There's stuff that I can't talk about yet, but there's stuff I plan to do so much more with them. And it just, again, like I say, the designs, the way they design stuff is amazing.
Have you been able to get like custom merch done through them? Is there like CyborgAngel merch?
Yeah.
Ooh. Through Arc 8? That's so exciting. What kind of stuff have you had them do?
Not yet. So there hasn't been anything.
Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah.
I was like, don't ask. Not yet.
Big winky face. Big winky. Alpha Sync Gaming is another one of these incredible sponsors. What do they do?
Yes. So Alpha Sync, basically, they create computers. So you can basically get custom-built computers or pre-built computers from them, and they have a configurator. But just the quality of service. With, like, you see my dog trying to get attention right now.
Like, you're the next question, pepperonis. You're coming up.
So just the kind of I don't know what's going on. just the quality of service in regards to how they treat their customers and how much care and attention they put into their PC builds and everything that they're looking to do. Again, it's to do with service, it's to do with quality, and that's another reason why I've taken them on as another sponsor.
Yeah,
they've got a lot of ideas, and there's a lot still being planned within AlphaSync that no other PC specialist company that makes, you know, PCs. So no other PC, how can I describe them? No other PC configuring company that build PCs for you have done. So because I know the direction they want to go in and the sort of quality that I know AlphaSync is, that's why I've chose to be with them. So yeah, if you ever want to get a PC built, unfortunately it's only in the UK at the moment, but hopefully they'll want to expand soon. But if you ever wanted to get a PC built, they have an amazing configurator, and just their service is top notch.
That's awesome. That's incredible. And you yourself, you as you were mentioning earlier, you were interviewed about PC specs and building PC. So this is something that you're very interested in and that you have expertise in yourself. Have you built your own computer before?
Yes.
You have? Wow.
On multiple occasions, yeah. But the first time I built my own PC, like fully built my own PC on my own, was very early in on my streaming career.
Wow.
I probably was averaging around 30 viewers at the time, and I'd been streaming maybe 6 months, and I had such a supportive community that they had raised money for me to build a new PC, because my PC prior to that was only just able to run the stream. It was really sluggish. It literally sounded like an airplane, and I couldn't afford to get anything better.
Yeah.
And they bought all these parts, and I was like, okay, right, so I'm not going to just buy a PC because that's too much money at the time.
Yep.
But nowadays it's nice to buy something that's pre-built, because it's not as far off as building it yourself. But back then it was different. So I bought all the parts, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to build it on stream. If you guys do this, I will do a specific streaming, like building a PC stream for you.
Yeah.
And I just remember the day that they got it all together, and the day that I streamed it for the first time, or streamed this first ever PC build, I had over 100 viewers for the first time ever streaming. Yeah, while I did it, and I was there for like 6 hours.
That's fabulous. Were they like, no, you need to do this, you need to do that, or were they just like,
yes,
dang, were they in a good way?
So I had, yeah, in a good way. I had a lot of people trying to help in the chat, but what I did is, so to not make anything confusing, to make sure that I did everything right, I had a very good friend of mine who also has his own PC company come onto the stream as my techie.
Nice.
So I had a little webcam in the corner of the screen, and the screen, shall I say, and I had his socials and his company come up in the chat, and where they can follow him and go and view his stuff. And he was just kind of this sort of tiny person in the corner going, okay, and now you need to do this, this, and this. So you had a big webcam screen of me putting this PC together, and then this techie in the corner going, no, don't do that. Okay, no, now you need this. Okay, find this.
That's so perfect. What an entertaining way to do it. Well done. So you built your own computers. Was that something that you was self-taught and like in that moment when you built your first PC with your techie, or was this something that you've known about, that you've trained in?
Sorry, again, I think my dog wants to.
Does he want lovies? Does he want to be on screen?
Maybe.
Yeah, we need it. It's Gizmo, right?
Yes.
Oh, Gizmo.
I don't know what's gone into him.
Oh my
He's
goodness.
Like all for
what
attention.
A cute baby.
He just wants so much attention all the time.
How old is he?
He is 12 years old, believe it or not, but he still acts like a puppy.
I was gonna say this. He does not look that old. What a
yeah, he still acts like a puppy. He actually had like jet black circles around his eyes, but you can see the grey coming through now.
How has he been your dog? Is he always been your dog?
Yeah, he's always been my dog. Yeah, he's like honestly one of the most well-behaved dogs there is. Apart from recently, he's been really randy recently, like strangely so, and just really like attention seeking, which has just never been him beforehand.
He's just like, I need my mama. I need that love. We were talking about your very first PC build. How did you learn to build a PC? Was it on the spot in that moment, or was it earlier?
So I knew most of the aspects of it. I was somebody who used to, if something broke, I would take it apart, figure it out, and put it back together and fix it.
Mm-hmm.
I was that person. So I knew some aspect to building my own PC, but I didn't know everything.
Yeah.
So for the most part, I think, you know, a good 70% of it I learned on stream that day live.
Yeah. That's incredible. Good for you.
Yeah.
What an ambitious moment to undertake. But like you said, you're an adrenaline junkie. You're going to go for it, even if you don't know what you're doing. I love
exactly that. Yeah.
I wanted to know about Warframe, as I have a big Warframe community, and people were talking about, when did she start? There was a debate in chat. When did you get into Warframe, and what do you like about it?
I got into Warframe, a couple of months ago. It hasn't been long. When was it? Probably July?
Yeah, wasn't it Call of the Tempestari quest that you
yes.
had started with? Yeah.
Yeah, it was like just before the big update with Ureli.
Yes.
So I got into it then, and I've always wanted to try Warframe, but I've been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off for years, because I'm like, no, because I know I'm gonna like that game, and I know that's a game that's gonna need my attention, and I don't have that time right now because I'm a variety streamer and I'm doing VR and this and that. And when I DE actually contacted me and they were like, we'd love to sponsor you playing the game. We'd love to have you cover the game for the first time as a new player, and they sponsored me for a couple of weeks of playing the game, and I just fell in love.
Did you? Wow.
Instantly. So I just couldn't say no to the fact that they'd actually reached out to me as well. It was I was so proud that they'd reached out to me. It's like so just taken back by it. And I just fell in love with the game, and I played it since then. So essentially they paid, you know, a few weeks of sponsored streams, but they have got me permanently now, because although I've taken a little bit of a detour and I'm doing a few things for new releases now, I'm going to be coming back to it, and I still haven't completed the star chart, and I still haven't done the second dream, and I'm still yet to know more about the story, and I'm really excited.
Oh, that's exciting. We welcome you with big open arms. The Warframe community is pretty incredible. I think you'll find a very adoring group of people who will want to help you with that game. And there's another big update coming out so soon. So getting your story quest done is like, now's a great time to learn that story. That's so exciting. Well, which is your favorite Warframe that you have played so far?
Oh, I think I still want to say Mag.
Yeah.
I still want to say Mag.
She's pretty badass, especially at the beginning of the game. It makes sense. She's fabulous.
When I had to change from her, and when I realized I needed to change from her, I was like, wait, I have to change? I have to try different ones? Like, I want to stay with one. But then you realize, hang on, actually this is amazing, and I love the fact that they push you to try others. So I'm trying to, like, my memory is so bad, but I'm trying to think of some of the others that I've played now and which ones I liked out of them. But like, Mag's got to be the one that stands out
the most
at the moment. Yeah.
Well, that's very exciting. I look forward to seeing you play more. I'm very excited. And there is a Halloween event coming up, starting on the 6th.
Is there?
Yes, there is.
I don't actually know this. Okay, on the 6th.
On the 6th.
When's the 6th?
Middle
of next week.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But it lasts all month.
I have to like juggle that with other new releases, because we've got Far Cry 6 and stuff like that coming out at the moment. So there's just so much going on.
It's so much at once. It goes all month, and it's basically just like decorations and cosmetics that are Halloweeny.
Oh, wow.
Which is the fun part.
Amazing. Loki Prime. That was another real favorite of mine.
You liked him?
Yeah.
Good. He is fun. He's considered the troll of the Warframes, but
really
he is also one of the most effective frames. So you picked well, you chose well.
Yeah.
Very good. Wonderful. So we're excited to see you back in Warframe. That's going to be awesome. Awesome having you there. Oh, yes, about the things that you like to do for fun. I wanted to know, you're into motorcycles, you have an incredible doggo. What are some of the things that you do for fun to wind down and to just escape from the online world?
I'm currently teaching myself classical piano. So there's that.
That's incredible. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm literally self-teaching myself it. I just got a piano, and I was like, I liked piano when I was younger, and I didn't know how to play it. I'm gonna learn how to play.
Yeah, that is a challenge. Good for you.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Playing two different things with two different hands is just, I'm still getting around it. But another thing, I really do like reading, but I don't get enough time to do it. And I was always very creative when it came to like drawing and stuff like that, just like painting, digital art. So I'm going to be getting back into doing some like graphics and like drawing on a graphics tablet and stuff like that in my spare time.
Oh, how incredible.
But I would just say in general, like, I don't know, other general, I like cooking, ice skating, stuff that I don't get time for. I'm naming stuff that I don't get time for right now.
You're like, these are the things I would do if I wasn't so invested in video games.
Pretty much, yeah.
Can I virtually ice skate, because then that would be perfect.
Right, exactly.
And you don't
exactly
have to be cold. Did you stream piano before? Somebody in chat is saying.
I have once on the last Twitch Sings stream I did, which I only did because I'm terrified of that. I only did because like the community unlocked it, so I had to do it.
You had to do it.
And I kind of did. I think I did a Christmas one just before Twitch Sings finished. And they wanted me to. I think I did one on my birthday as well last year. They wanted me to play piano and sing a song, or like just show them where I was in piano.
Yeah.
And I could only play something, but I played something, so they were able to. Wow. And also I think I did it for a charity event. So yeah, there was one. The community will probably be able to confirm, but there was a charity stream I did, I think this year, where they could donate a certain amount for the charity that unlocked me playing a song on the piano. So I had to get the piano out, even though I don't know how to play very well, and be like, okay, I'm gonna try this.
You were so brave. Oh my god, I've studied piano for 20 years of my life, and I still won't play in front of my family. I get so this is the one thing that I have stage fright over. So like, all of the kudos to being able to do that live. Good for you. It's
honestly, it was such simple. I was playing so simple, and I was like, I kept mucking up, and it was very much like, what's that show, Sister, where the piano scene? I don't know if you know about that, but there's just a funny scene where it's just like, wait, hang on a second, let me try again, and it was just constantly that, but it was fine. I was just like, well, I'm new to it. They're gonna know I'm new to it.
They're gonna know.
You should just do it. I believe in you. You could do it.
Thank you.
You need to play in front of the community.
Maybe I'll bring them some Christmas carols this Christmas.
You should.
See, I'll carol for them with my terrible voice. This is the last question that I like to ask at every interview is, what is the most sensible advice somebody has ever given you?
Being sure of yourself and believing in yourself. Trust yourself and the direction you want to go in. There was something else that I wanted to say that was really important. I can't remember what that one was now.
That always happens.
Yeah. But I would just honestly say, you just don't know until you try. And I think that the term "fake it until you make it" really, really, really is so important and does work.
It's paid off. I don't know if it's been faking it for you, but it's really paid off for you to just take the shot and grab life by the balls and try and look at the incredible accomplishments you had. Like, it's truly paid off in a
you don't know if you. Thank you. You don't know if you can do something unless you try. So if you try, I mean, fake it until you make it. And when you get there, you realize you're not faking it because you can do it anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. Thank you. That's incredible advice. This has been a really inspiring conversation. I was so glad to get to know you and about all the things you've accomplished. I hope one day that I'll see you in Warframe and we can play around together. I would really, really love that.
Yes, that would be great.
It would be. Everybody, CyborgAngel, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for your time, and good luck with the rest of the motorcycle courses. I hope you rock it.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me on here and for the kind words. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.